If you are an LGBTQ person or an ally even, and you are also someone who frequents Pride, you need to watch this video. Trust me. Hello and welcome back to your friendly bisexuals channel. See, I even did this today to go with it. A little while ago, I asked you, my disabled friends, about what you wanted to see at Pride in terms of accessibility. And this was inspired by an incident last year. Last year, my friend Chrissy and I, we went to Pride with another friend of mine, and we noticed some things about accessibility that just went wrong. So I wanted to, instead of just talk about my own experience, I wanted to get some other input from other disabled people of various other disabilities. Let's go. The first one, and this is the experience that I had, ASL interpreters. Now, the Charlotte Pride last year, which by the way is in August, we had interpreters. That was fantastic, except the accessibility in terms of interpretation fell flat because the parade was in front of us and the interpreters and the announcers were behind us. So, you know, when you're watching the parade, you also want to know what's going on. You want to know the information about these specific groups, organizations. So typically you should have the interpreter and the announcers in front of you somewhere, but instead they were all the way in the back. So you know what you had to do if you really wanted to get your information? Look to the back, look to the front. Look to the back, look to the front. So your choice is to watch the parade but miss out on the information, or get the information but miss out on the awesome parade that you came for in the first place. So yeah, accessibility, get in the front. If you could get captions, also good, because not all deaf people sign. So places to sit with cushions. I like this one. I agree with this because as someone with chronic pain, this would be very, very helpful. Now, because it's in downtown Charlotte, I'm just gonna use my own city as an example, but you know, at Charlotte Pride, it's downtown. Restaurants have their, tables outside that people sit and eat at, but they're really hard chairs, or you're just having to sit on not the gravel, like on the sidewalk, although there are people who sit on the sidewalk, but you know where there's like plants and stuff and you can sit on a little bench. They're not comfortable at all. So when you have chronic pain, chronic fatigue, it would be nice to have seats with cushions on them and an actual, back for if your back hurts, because if you're just sitting with nothing to support, it's not really fun. It's really painful, and Pride isn't that much of a sit-down activity, really, not from what I've experienced myself. Accessible bathrooms and walkways. This is especially important for people who use wheelchairs. Pride is very crowded. I've noticed that walkways, you can't really get anywhere with your wheelchair because, one, everybody's kind of, just surrounding you, and they want to get somewhere and they like to block the smaller people. But you need an accessible wheelchair area for the parade especially. You need accessible bathrooms. So many bathroom stalls are so small, and a lot of able folks also like to take the wheelchair stalls as well, so we need more wheelchair stalls. And also, if you're able and don't need the bigger stall, the wheelchair stall, don't use them. Save them for the wheelchair users, or even the cane users. Just save them for the disabled people. I'm trying to be inclusive of all the mobility aid users. If my wheelchair using friends have an issue with that, just let me know in the comments. Let me learn. And don't block anything in the walkways. Downtown, we have scooters, and people like to leave their scooters in the middle of the walkways. Their bicycles, it's so frustrating. Get them out of the way, please. A quiet area for people who have sensory overload. This is common in autistic people to my knowledge. Pride is very loud. Lots of shouting, lots of screaming. The mics and the speakers are loud. The protesters are also loud. So it would be nice to have a designated quiet area. If I could, I would lend you my ears, but that is unfortunately scientifically impossible. I make that joke all the time to my hearing friends when they're so annoyed with any noise. I'm like, would you like to borrow some? You can have them overnight. There you go. Deaf perks, man, deaf perks. And last but not least, number 5, medics who are trained to treat disabled people. Not only straight up treat, but to communicate with them. I've had horror stories in the hospital when I've been in a car crash and the nurses and the doctor did not want to write to me. This was before, I signed at all, really. Nobody wanted to write. There was no ASL interpreters. Not that it would help me, but anybody else. I have friends who don't really like being touched, or if you want to communicate with them, you kind of have to warn them a little bit. There's just different ways to communicate with various disabled people. And also, if you're chronically ill, you have the horror story of people being like, you don't really need this, or just suck it up. Like, there are doctors who say that stuff. So it'd just be really nice to have medics who really know what they're doing and actually really care to help and treat disabled people. So those are the top 5 tips I have for those who are organizing Pride events. There were a lot of replies in the Twitter thread, but I wanted to condense it down to 5, so I will link the Twitter thread down below, so if you want to read more answers, there you go. I really do hope that these tips were helpful, and if you've already had Pride be passed, if you're an organizer watching this, implement this next year. If you're someone who hasn't had it yet, like Charlotte, waiting for August, get that stuff rolling now if you can. You should. Just don't, not if, do it. Do it. If you have any other tips, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. Everyone's different. Let's get knowledge in our brains. If you would like to help translate this video, I would very much appreciate it, and I will leave a translation link down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later.